Let's hit it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Basement Quality Banter, episode 36. Good evening, Angus.
Evening, Luke. How are you doing, my friend?
Lovely, lovely. I am drinking, thanks to you, my first, I'll show it there, Stone Curlew ferments. I'm drinking the Reflections, the barrel fermented grisette, 750 ml, 4.5%. I'll leave a little story at the back here. It was barrel fermented for 3 months with three Belgian ale strains before adding our house culture and fermenting for additional 3 months prior to packaging. Stone Curlew Ferments is a Hawke Brewing Co. project focused on small batch mixed culture beers that blend rustic tradition and New World flair. And what I found interesting in this one, it has Pinot Noir pomace in it, which is basically all the seeds and leftovers from the winemaking process, which um, can add lots of different aspects to a beer such as this. But rich in antioxidants, polyphenols, fiber. It's a sort of like a rich byproduct. So very keen. You went to the event for the launch. How was that?
It was good. Yeah, I was having a chat to Phil, and he said it's one of the biggest days they've had. It was, oh gosh, the third day of the Brisbane test, I think it was.
Yep.
And he said they were packed up until about 11:30, and I got there about 12:30, and it was still packed. So there must have been a swift exchange of cricket punters off to the Gabba and beer nerds lobbing in. But it was cool, yeah. I caught up with a bunch of mates. Lucifer, one of my homebrewing mates, caught up with him, and Tim, another homebrewing mate. That was good fun. I managed to have the Brett IPA off tap. They didn't have the Grisette on tap, and Jake said he only made one barrel of that one. So he got halfway through bottling it to the point where I had to like keg it. And he's like, "Nah, I'm doing all bottles."
Yep.
So yeah, there's actually no kegs of the Grisette anywhere. So if you want to try it, which I highly recommend you do, it's a fantastic, approachable beer. It's a saison base with a barrel age and the all the stuff that you said, but it's really quite approachable and almost what I'd describe as a background beer. So you got some beers that just sit in the background. You're at the pub chatting with your mates and drinking beer, and it's about kind of being with your mates. It's kind of what that beer is for me. A little bit if you're going to like a big sour session or funk session, that would be the first one you kick off with. What are your thoughts?
I think this really reminds me of my first days trying sort of wildflower, where yes, it was $30 a bottle, but you'd grab it, you put it on the table, and everyone would grab a glass and you'd share it and you enjoy it together as like a table beer as they originally sort of were. And it's surprisingly dry. It's got a real dry finish. And just that little bit of funk. It's yeah, I love it. It's just like it's complex, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's a hard way to explain it. I still think if you brew a grisette in Brisbane, it should be called a brisette. I don't know why. I've always thought that. Um, but it was really cool, and a lot of people are probably wondering about the Stone Curlew, and like I mentioned last week, I've always loved the bird, so I'm not sure if this will work, but bear with me. This is the sound of, if you live in southeast Queensland, definitely you'll know the Stone Curlew sound. Um,
It's the bedtime bird.
it is. So
I
they're
believe.
a nocturnal bird. Did you hear that?
Didn't hear it. No, I didn't hear it.
Didn't hear a thing. Bugger. Oh well, that didn't work, but we live
Hey
and
man,
learn.
it's the bed. It's when you stay up too late and the birds are going off. It's the bedtime bird. I
Yep.
start hearing that. I'm like, oh crap! I should have gone to bed an hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love the curlew. It's such a nice. They sometimes called the whaling bird. First Nations people believed it was the souls going back to the dream time. That was the sound of going back to bed, and calling your beer brand after it is very cool. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. What have you got?
I've got something way less fantastic and interesting. Got Sea Legs West Coast IPA,
Yep.
which I want to talk to, I don't know, probably Phil and Dan at Hiker. I've got an idea for a beer called Wookapa. Wookapa. So it's just a West Coast IPA dialed up to 1,000.
Mm,
That's big letters, Wookapa.
nice.
Anyway, that's my
Yeah,
story.
yeah, I like it. So, on to beer news. Uh, the Gabs Hottest 100. I actually tried to vote, and I was seriously disappointed how many breweries were involved. There's lots of beers that I've previously voted for that aren't registered this year. I know there's a process to alert or nominate breweries. However, the fact that they haven't even signed up is a real concern.
Yeah, I haven't seen the massive advertising bomb of hey, vote for our beers and we'll give you stuff. I
Yeah,
haven't seen. I think saw hikers and I think it was your mates, someone else. I've only seen two.
yeah,
Whereas normally at this stage, I'm just getting smashed to pieces with
yeah.
merch deals and beer vouchers and whatever else they try and throw at us to make us vote.
Yeah, no. But yeah, like even Heads of Noosa, I always love their Japanese black ale, black lager,
Like
and
lager, yeah.
none of the Heads of Noosa beers are in there, and yeah, there's really limited choice. I was really surprised. Uh, I could pick three of my favorite beers for the year, but not the other two because they're not there.
Yeah.
So that might hurt, and that might be interesting to see votes, numbers, and everything like that when the stats come out to see if that's really affected the tallies this year.
Is
Uh,
there a cost for breweries to enter,
I do not believe
or
so.
you just
No,
no?
no.
Yeah,
You've
okay.
just got to submit a PDF of the product, like a nice, really good quality, image of your product with the official name, and then Bob's your uncle. Um, I got one of my beers into the top 100, and that's all we had to do. So well, there was no cost
Nice.
involved. Yeah. Um, Next story is the Bob Hawke Beer and Leisure Centre is encouraging you to chuck a sickie. So how it works, they've freed up some low visibility incognito tables around the venue on 6 specific days over the summer. One we've already missed. And basically, if you can prove that you've gone in and chucked a sickie, like an email or a text to your boss or anything like that, you can get 49% off your bill. So there's the last Friday before Christmas, first day back at work, and also the second day of the SCG test. The Friday, the 23rd of January, long weekend extender. Tuesday, 27th of January, the long weekend extender, sort of on either end. Even Monday, 2nd of March, the Mardi Gras recovery day. So if you book a date, book a table, and prove that you've chucked a sickie, you get 49% off your bill. So it's fun. I don't know if they'll get in trouble, but I love it.
It's very Australian, and it's such a good marketing campaign, which
Yep.
I'll probably jump onto one of my items, but like it's what breweries are having to do to get people in the door and being
Yep.
interested is come up with these really unique and cool marketing campaigns. Um,
Yeah, go
yeah,
on
one of the ones that
tours.
I came up,
Yeah.
yeah, one of them. So free Capital Beer, kind of. So Capital Beer have launched a new promotion, providing purchases of a carton of beer in ACG bottle shops with a $20 voucher, which can be redeemed at their Fishwick location. So really clever marketing, right? You get them to buy a carton of beer at a bottle shop, but then they have to go to the tap room to use the voucher to get the $20 bonus. And yeah, as we know, brewers make more money with over-the-counter sales than they do with bottle shops or um, wholesale to other venues. Plus, they've got a, a cool little paragraph in there saying if your local bottle shop isn't offering the deal, give us their email address and they'll set it all up. Like they'll so again, you're getting punters getting through the door, or already existing customers getting to the tap room to buy the profitable beer, getting bottle shops on board to market your beer for you, and getting possibly new people who lob into the bottle shop and go, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind $20 off beer, and getting new customers in through the door as well. So again, really clever to marketing to to make some money out of bottle shop sales where you don't make that much money. Getting them in through the into the actual tap room. I think that's again just really clever marketing.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things there. So, like you said, bottle shops that may not usually sell Capital by the case or don't have it at all, they'll definitely stock up on it. The customers may calculate the price of the case minus the $20 in a financial, make it look a bit better. But also,
Yeah,
once you get them in the venue and they've had their couple of free pints or something, they're going to stay and have another couple because they've got those two free. So
yeah,
it is
pretty much in front already.
it is such a clever campaign. Gets the brand out there. Gets moves cases. Gets it into bottle shops. Well done, Capital. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, and like with that one, like the Bob Hawke one, it's towing the line right of what's acceptable for advertising. Yeah, giving people bonuses for chucking sickies and taking days off work, where this is just kind of like pure kind of commercial marketing where you buy stuff and you get a voucher.
Yeah, but you can't. They could technically in the fine print they could use that voucher for a pizza or something because you can't actually advertise free beer. So there's
Yeah,
something in there as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So you can use it at the tap room. I'm sure there's fine print to get them away from that. But yeah, both of them great. Whatever it takes to get people in, love it. You had the speaking of getting people into advertising, you had the IBA have started a campaign.
Yeah, I only saw this today. I didn't actually see when they started it, but yeah, they've got a advertising campaign urging consumers to purchase and drink independent beers over the summer break. Great initiative. Anything that pushes kind of independent beer is a good thing. And it'd be interesting to know if this is one of the first campaigns from the interim CEO, Sabrina, or maybe it was Kylie's last marketing effort at the IBA. I couldn't see the campaign on any other outlets though. So I feel kind of like the IBA advertising people to drink independent beer on their own website is already preaching to the converted. It's a great initiative, and I hope we start seeing it out into other outlets and kind of advertising independent beer.
Yeah, love it, love it. Um, I had WA have had a SlyGrogging case. It's not about blue bread or Vegemite brew, which I've dealt with previously. It's a man has been
Vegemite brew.
charged up. Hey,
Vegemite brew, man.
you haven't
Man.
heard of
Anyway,
Vegemite brew?
sorry. No, I haven't had it, but it's already a side product of brewing. Like, what's
Hey,
left?
well, there's still yeast that can be fermented in Vegemite.
Yeah, I guess,
And
yeah.
in dry areas or where there's areas where you can't have alcohol, that they do make lots of people make Vegemite brew. And blue bread was 99, I believe. They brought in the additive to methylated spirits that induces vomiting, and
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and what a lot of people were doing were filtering it through full loaves of bread to get rid of that additive so you could drink the methylated spirits and add it with orange juice or something like that. So there was all these loaves of bread, purple and blue bread, because that's what there's a color additive and the flavor additive that induced vomiting. So basically, people were filtering the methylated spirits from the supermarket and having their own hooch. So there's
Yes.
always
Gotta
there's
be
always ways around it. But so a man
gotta be
has been
desperate.
yeah, yeah. A man has been charged with allegedly selling tens of thousands of dollars worth of alcohol in dry communities in Western Australia's north. Western Australia Police allege the 44-year-old man sold about 45 grams worth of alcohol to people living in Halls Creek and surrounding dry communities about 2,800 kilometres north of Perth. It is alleged that the Halls Creek man, so he's from the area, profited from selling the alcohol at highly inflated prices, a practice commonly known as SlyGrogging. It will be further alleged the man received over 450 electronic bank transfers totaling $140,000 and more than $30,000 in cash deposits. And this was in the 6 months it's more than 6 months, it's 8 months from October 24 to July 25. What a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, having never really been to dry communities, um, I don't have much knowledge on that subject itself, but
Mm,
I mean, if you're doing this sort of stuff with bank accounts, you're going to get caught.
that's stupid.
Yeah.
I've known a nurse who worked in Bamaga, which is a dry community in Queensland, very, very North Queensland. And the community doesn't want grog. They don't want it. And, um, sometimes some young kids will bring it in and cause trouble, and the elders boot them out. They say, no, we don't want that poison in our community. And I don't know the Halls Creek community. Obviously, this gentleman's profiteered from it.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it's a tough one. But most of the time, the communities they don't want it in their community. So yeah. And speaking of pieces of shit, um, I fell across this story from Empire Alternicade in Townsville, I think Netherworld of the North. And, some moron has picked up a 50-litre keg and thrown it right into one of the pinball machines, smashed it, glass everywhere, and they've had to close it up to clean it up. So he must have lost his $2 worth of play in a pinball and got a bit cranky. So yeah, two
I
pieces
mean,
of
you and
story.
I have done the beer awards.
Yep.
Officially, the keg is not 50 kilos. It's about 70 or 80 kilos with the stainless and the beer inside it. That's a pretty decent effort.
Yeah,
Must have been pretty mad.
they weigh a bit. Yep. You had a story about software provider Unleashed.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting until you started reading kind of between the lines. So, there's an inventory management software provider, Unleashed, have released reports gathering stats across their customers in the beer industry. So, industry profitability is up from 26% to 32%, which seems great on the surface, doesn't it? But stats for small to medium breweries presented a 28% drop in sales for the September quarter. Now, the cynic in me says that this is probably closely related to the excise freeze on tap beer benefiting the big boys, with less benefit to small and medium breweries. So again, the title paragraph about continued tap monopolies reduce any market inroads that the smaller breweries can make with their smaller marketing budgets.
Definitely, and tap contracts, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had a cool story about Budvar.
Yeah, I was on YouTube and dove down a rabbit warren for I think it was about 3 hours watching this homebrew podcast that I watched. He did a video of his tour and through Budvar in Czechia, and it was really fascinating. And I may have done a fair bit of drooling while I was watching it.
Ah,
It's pretty cool stuff. The they'd brought in all a heap of stainless fermenters, but still had all their old school horizontal tanks, and all the copper brewery was still in use to this day. So I've compiled my top five cool facts about Budvar. So they produce over 280 million pints per year, with all water drawn from an on-site artisanal well since 1885 when the the current brewery started. Number four, they offer pouring courses for bar staff to learn how to pour a Budvar properly. So apparently, according to Redim, who's the Budvar representative on the video, the correct technique is a double pour. So basically, the first pour is to knock a lot of the carbonation out, and you let it sit for 30 seconds and kind of lose the head a little bit. And the second pour is to top the top the beer up and top the head up to the correct three fingers of head, and then the head lasts throughout the drinking experience, which is pretty cool. And they had the cool side pour taps,
The Milko
which
and all that sort of stuff. Yep.
yeah, milk on the Luca taps. Yeah, it's on my list of things to buy from a Keezer, but way down the list.
Yeah.
Way down the list. I guess I have to start making Czech beers first.
Yeah.
Number three, I thought this was absolutely fascinating. Budvar is state owned. So the country of Czechia actually owns Budvar. So that means that all brewery workers are government workers,
I
which I
knew it was.
found
I knew.
super fascinating.
I knew it was state owned, and I know that Budweiser. There was a big fight when they came in and stole the recipe and all that sort of stuff. But I didn't think about the workers being government workers. That is a really cool point. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
What up to number two? So they still double decoct every single batch of their 5% original lager. And so that means it's about 4 hours per brew session, and they use three individual tanks per brew session, which is madness. But they are so not addicted, but so committed to the beer they produce and the processes that they do that I don't think that would ever change. Which leads me on to my number one fact, interesting fact about Budvar. So I can't remember the year it was, but they plan to switch over from their original open tanks to stainless conicals. So they did batches side by side in the old school fermenters and the new stainless conicals, and kept brewing them until there was an exact match between the beer output from the old fermenters and the new fermenters. So they weren't going to release any beers from the stainless until it met their exacting standards for what their 5% lager should be. And they did this over 5 years.
5 years.
So, so for 5 years, they double batched well, maybe not every lager they made, but they double batched beers in stainless and the old fermenters. And they didn't mention. I got the impression that can't remember the guy's the head brewer's name, but I got the impression that they did not sell the stainless beer. So that seemed like that was a side experiment until they got it bang on, and it was exactly how they wanted it. They did not sell that beer. So does that mean the employees were drinking stainless lager for 5 years?
I'd
Been
say
forced to take home cartons of lager each week until it met their standards. But I mean, that's crazy, right? Like, you imagine taking on the expense for 5 years of bringing in new equipment
to make it
and
perfect.
saying we're not selling that beer until it reaches QA, and that took them 5 years.
And what I'm
Crazy.
thinking is the whole Budvar Beanley, sorry, Burley um, collaboration is even more impressive now. The fact that they got the yeast strain over here, and because we know Brendan Fielding, he's very similar. He's meticulous when he brews, so um, that makes sense too. That yeah,
So that also gives you like a level of where Brennan sits in the world of lager brewing,
100%.
where a company has spent 5 years bringing in new tanks until they're completely satisfied that that beer met their exacting quality standards, and that they've chosen to do a collab beer with some guy in Australia,
Yeah,
and they put their name
on
and
the label.
partnered with this Australian brewery. So yeah, that kind of tells you the esteem that Brennan must be held in
Yep.
the lager industry, the Czech beer industry.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yep. Loves it. Says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. That's all the beer news I had. Um, I had the NRL. So a few episodes ago, we were talking about the horrible injury to Eli Katoa and the Pacific Championship final for Tonga. And a little more has been revealed with him suffering a seizure on the sidelines before he went to hospital with the brain bleed. This week, three Tongan officials have been banned for 2 years over their handling or lack thereof. So they, said get back on the field sort of thing. Yeah, they are not allowed to participate in any international or national rugby league um, competitions for over 2 years. So,
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing's unfortunate,
yeah,
but I mean, rugby union is a fair way down the road of looking after player safety, and there's been a whole bunch of laws brought in over the last 3 or 4 years to really maximize player safety on the field, and league have been doing the same thing as well. So, unfortunately, the Tongan officials have copped that ban, but I mean, it's got to happen, right? Like
I
rugby
think so.
league has a duty of care to their players,
Yeah,
and there's a whole bunch of kind of lawsuits bubbling around the edges in rugby, at least. I assume there'd be the same with rugby league as well, where
I didn't.
players who are now suffering CTE and long-term concussion symptoms.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think they had Ellie's interest in health interest in that game. They wanted him to play at any cost, and I don't think that's acceptable. So I'm glad that they've made that call, and I hope he gets better.
yeah, I think, and I think with the independent medical officials that rugby and league have as well,
Mm.
that decision's taken out of the players' hands, because I'll bet that Ellie
He
was
wanted
wanting
to
to
play. Of
play.
course
It
he
was
would.
the final time he's wanted to play for Tonga in the final. Like
Yeah.
he could have been missing a leg, and he still would have wanted to play.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the Tongan officials would want him to play as well, because he's a great player, and they would want him on the field. So that's where this independent medical official is important. They log in and go, no, he's done.
Yeah.
And that person's decision overrules the player and overrules the team officials as well.
Yeah. They just
So
need to implement it beforehand the game in the warm up, maybe.
yeah, so I think certainly this is going to send a message to team officials that they've got to be very careful
Yep.
and manage their players' safety as if an independent medical official was there, because that's how they'll be treated. You know,
100%.
priority is your players care of your players. So I think that's a pretty strong message that that's got to be top of mind for officials when they're dealing with their players, and training incidents and pre-game incidents, because the game incidents are dealt with independent officials, but they've got to be, I don't know, just as committed to the care of players during training and pre-games.
Definitely. And in F1, congrats to Lando for winning his first championship, and Max coming back to within 2 points. He was 104 points behind at one stage during the season, and he was doing it all solo. He didn't have the support of a teammate. I was really impressed with how Oscar dealt with a difficult year, even though he didn't get the title. I believe he's held himself with respect and honour, which is really good qualities in international sporting people. You were a bit sick of the whinges that you saw a lot of whinges about it.
Yeah, our Australians is a big bunch of whiny bitches who spent the last half of the season absolutely creating conspiracy theories about McLaren sabotaging his season so Oscar could win. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, you've got two drivers, one of whom for the first half of the year was absolutely wrecking everyone and leading the points championship. Why would you sabotage his season so your second driver could win?
I
knowing that knowing that Oscar could quite easily get the shits and go somewhere else.
I
Like,
still think they favoured Lando. I do, with some of their calls, but they made mistakes on both sides of the coin. Uh, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm not upset with the result. Yeah. Actually, Max coming back to within 2 points. He, I was listening to the F1 podcast today, and Max said he was happier coming second within 2 points from where he was than winning the championship last year.
yeah, I mean, congrats to Max for rampaging home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he left it one race too late. One more race, and I reckon he would have got that championship.
And you know what? I think we saw a different Max this year. I don't know if it's because he's become a father. Um, I don't know. I think he's, had a few more fans come over because his attitude's changed a bit.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the first year races next year are going to be really interesting under the new specifications.
Yep.
Yeah, there's going to be a heap more work done in the off season by the factories,
80,
and
89
oh,
days.
hey,
89 days till Melbourne.
at all.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it's going to be a lot more work, and there's still going to be late nights of reading through the specifications and the rules to see where the advantages can be gained.
Yep.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, and I think no one wants to see Ferrari keep sucking, so
No,
hopefully the new specs will bring them back up to at least somewhat parity with the other teams.
yeah. Well, because Ferrari have been there from the start, they get 20% more of the kitty every year as it is anyway. So they get a bit
Okay.
more money. So yeah. Hey, look, before I go, look, I'm going to try this curlew again. I'm really sorry for the couple of seconds that everyone had of silence, um, because that's a professional podcast that's internationally renowned as ours. I'll just
Bullshit.
no, nothing. Okay, maybe it doesn't like the curlew call.
All right, you're making me do it. So it's the morning bird. It's kind of like
Yeah, lovely.
kind of.
So I'm thinking we'll have a couple of weeks off over the Christmas period now. Um, and unless something major happens, we might jump on for an emergency potty or if there's a big call or something. But be sure to share your beery shit posts on the Basement Quality Banter Facebook group and page. We'll gather some stories for the new year. I hope everyone has a safe one and brings in the new year with gusto. And if you're going to gift a beer or have a beer, try and make it a local independent drop if you can. Impress your family. And if nothing really super interesting happens that warrants us jumping on for an emergency potty, all the best to yours and yours, Angus.
Yeah, same to you, man. Have a good break, Luke, and everyone. Get some resting and some good beer drinking and
Yep,
good independent beer drinking.
yep. And we will continue our shit posting next year. And love to you all. I'll catch you later.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.